Now, the interesting problem that I have at this point is this. I've set up my laser level. So now I'm trying to ascertain what I want to do with this ceiling. And if you see, so this laser level, I mounted it. I had plenty of magnet there so I can adjust this up or down if I want to. And you see the original ledger board for all of these joists. Now this is a porch, so everything is on an angle. We knew that going into it, and for drainage, we got that. So the upstairs must have also been a porch. So this would have been a 2-level porch when they put it on. And with that 2-level porch, the upstairs was also set for drain. So the bottom was set for drain, the top was set for drain. That's why the angle. So we got that. Now, the problem is, what do we do with the ceiling? We have a couple of things. Over here, right in the middle of those windows, that's a kind of a natural dip. It's a kind of a little swale, I would call it. And it's because, of course, then you get your water channeling in one particular area to drain off. And I think we had the same thing with this floor as well. So I want this over here to be flat all the way across. Now, if that's my low point, then that dictates the flat all the way across on that side. So strike a level line, and there we go. And you can see that level line. Let me show you a little closer. So there's that green laser level line. You see where, that's pretty much the low point. I think I have a little adjustment to do, but that's the low point. But you'll see how it grows over here to right in that corner. That's about 2 inches. And so from that over to the center of the room, I have a 2-inch dip in the ceiling. So that'll go away. And then you see right there where, again, we're about at least 2, maybe 2.5 inches down to that little sticker there. Okay, so that's solution number one. Problem number one, solution number one. So I need to hit that level line all the way across. That'll take the dip out of the ceiling. Okay, problem solved. So that same line that traces all the way across, so you can see that line just above these two windows that goes over into that corner, right? So this line, that's down easily 6 inches from that original ledger board for these joists. So the lowest joists are still 6 inches or better above that level line there. And that's consistent all the way across. Okay, so what do? I can certainly, striking that as my flat line, I can then figure out an angle and repeat something and just have a different angle for the entire ceiling. Once you figure out the angle, it's not a big deal. Everything just gets cut. With this doorway being originally an exterior doorway, so it's a little bit taller, so what you'll notice is that if we go with this as the actual ceiling and go for level and flat, then we only have a little bit of a trim board. So then really the decision point, other than getting the dip out of the ceiling, the only other decision point really is, do we want level and flat? And if we do, then this is an issue in that you're only going to have like a 1-inch casing at the very top. That's the argument. The 2 inches or so that you would gain on this side by going from this level line up a couple of inches and then striking an angle, that's inconsequential, really. It's not going to make the room feel any better. Plus, it'll broadcast an angle on this trim for the casing on the top of that window, which is a sight line from the kitchen. So in the end, the decision is we're going to go with level and flat. We'll get the dip out of this. We'll go with that line all the way across. And of course, then we go with the line all the way across. And so I'll have a new ledger board, and we'll joist hang. Different problems, right? But I think that's going to work out best to give me the most consistent finished surface. All right, decision point made. Flat and level, and then I just have to deal with a whole bunch of mess up here. All right, let's get to it. All right, so to figure out materials, I'm just going to treat this as if I were framing brand new. Get all the materials I need to frame brand new, and then what I don't need I can take back later on. I'm about ready to cut another joist. This first joist that I installed actually against the wall is taper cut because it's sistered right underneath the existing end joist. And I have to do that one more time at the moment with my next joist right there. It's going to sister on that because those two are on layout. Nothing else is on layout in this room. Those two actually are. And that's where I'm starting with my layout against my rim joist up here. So what I did is simply I took my tape measure and underneath the existing joist all the way down through, I did it on layout more or less 0, 16, 32, 48, all the way down. I believe I have 8 measurements that'll tell me what that taper is. If it's not straight, I will make it straight, make it work. With that, I also need to have the length of the overall joist itself, and for that, I'm going to use my Bosch Blaze tape measure. So let's check this one out. Get another, and get another, and I typically take 3 or 4 in order to make sure that it's consistent. And in this case, I have 140 3/4, and I actually did this 4 times because that's kind of awkward. But 140 3/4, and I had done this earlier, so that verifies that. Love this little thing. This is a Bosch Blaze. It has a lot of functions that frankly I don't use at the moment, but I should read up on the manual and play around with it. All right, well, here we go. And my knees will pay for it. Okay, well, now pile of joists, and I'll lay that one out. It goes from the narrow end, where I actually measured with the laser tape, at 2 1/8, all the way up to 5 15/16, just shy of 6 inches. That's the taper, and so that's what, good for almost 4 inches, 3 and big change as far as high to low to get that particular rake of the pitch for the water to have drained when that was an outside porch up top and down below actually. All right, well, I'm going to lay this out, get some lines going, then I'll connect the dots with my T-square, and I will also then run a chalk line and see a full line all the way down. What does that look like as opposed to connect the dots? Because connecting the dots, I've been a little problematic. All right, well, there you go, folks. That's all I'm going to do. Hey folks, Steve here. Ceilings are us. Yay, flat. Have a laser level still on, and yep, there. Looking pretty good all the way around, certainly within the tolerance of what I'm going to do with drywall, so yay. From what it was to what it is, even though we've lost, I'm going to say 6 inches here, the whole ledger there, that it's still going to work out much better.